present San Francisco Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet, part of the NBC Sports Group.
It's a showdown here at the corner of 3rd and King. The Washington Nationals are the beast from the East and own the top record in the majors. They boast a powerful lineup and a premier pitching staff. The Giants cling to a slim lead in the National League West and are showing signs of an offensive outburst. The big bats for the Orange and Black need to keep coming up with clutch hits to win the series. It's a possible postseason preview. Giants, Nationals, next. The homestand continues tonight. We're at AT Park. It's a very nice Monday night for baseball, and it's the Nationals and Giants game 1 of this 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. I'm Dwayne Kuiper. Alongside me is John Miller. Mike will be back with us in San Diego on Friday night. Well, it is the Nationals, John, and look, these guys come in with the best record in baseball. You know, look, they're not fooling anybody. They're just really that good, pitching and hitting.
Really good. And Worth is back, although just before game time tonight, he was scratched from the lineup. Yeah. So he's back, but not in there tonight. But the Nationals are hitting well. They've got big power in the middle of their batting order. They just had an 8-game winning streak that was snapped yesterday. They've won 12 of their last 14 road games. They're outstanding on the road. And this series has that postseason October feel. Yep. Top teams and top pitching matchups throughout this series, starting with Vogelsong tonight, who leads the league in earned run average, against the 14-game winner, the former Oakland lefty, Gio Gonzalez. So this should be a real exciting series. And truly, Bruce Bochy said it before the ball game, a little measuring stick at this point of the season for maybe where the Giants really are right now. And probably, I think, the same for the Nationals.
Yeah. 3 great pitching matchups in this 3-game series. All right, when we come back, Amy G is going to take a look at a big day yesterday for Hunter Pence. He hit the big fly that sent everybody home happy. She'll have that right after this.
Football on Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Toyota. Check out the great deals at your local Toyota dealer today.
Your San Francisco Giants have been swinging the bat well as of late. They took 2 out of 3 from the Colorado Rockies, and tonight they're going to be tested. They go up against a team with the best record in Major League Baseball. The Washington Nationals are here at AT&T Park. Welcome back. I'm Amy Gutierrez, and fans are going to enjoy some great pitching over the next 3 days. And yesterday, well, they saw the newly acquired Giant Hunter Pence have his best game yet since joining San Francisco. Dave Fleming, Mike Krukow, and Dwayne Kuiper have the call. It's our AT&T U-verse Reverse Replay.
Pacheco to right center field. Pence on the move and still chasing after it. Hunter Pence, what a catch.
I'll tell you what, we have seen some plays this year in the outfield, and you can add that to the bunch.
Hit high and deep to left center field. It is out of here. Welcome to AT&T Park, Hunter Pence.
Pence was so humble about his accomplishment. He said it was a team win. All he did was get a hit. All right, sit back and relax. Ryan Vogelsong will go up against Gio Gonzalez for Game 1 of this 3-game series. John Miller, Dwayne Kuiper will be back with first pitch and lineups. But first, we're going to check in with our Comcast Sportsnet studios for an update. Stay with us.
Ryan Vogelsong leading the Giants out of their dugout. Our game time weather is brought to you by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free beach boardwalk is open daily. 58 degrees here at the yard. We got winds at 12 miles per hour, humidity at 82%, and it is a clear night for baseball. Just take a look at the lineup that Ryan Vogelsong will be facing, and it's a good lineup. It'll be Lombardozzi to lead things off, followed by the kid Bryce Harper, then Ryan Zimmerman. The cleanup hitter is Adam LaRoche. He's hot, so the Giants have to be aware of that. Then it'll be Michael Morris hitting fifth. Danny Espinosa, who's done a good job of filling in for Ian Desmond, he'll be at shortstop, and he'll be hitting sixth. And it's Roger Bernardina in the seventh spot, the former A, and the young man who hasn't been with the Nationals that long, Kurt Suzuki, will do the catching, and he will hit eighth. And the pitcher in batting ninth will be Gio Gonzalez. And now Vogelsong does indeed lead the troops out of the dugout. One of the stars yesterday was Hunter Pence, and he always gets a reception now in right field. The numbers for Ryan Vogelsong: 10-5. His ERA is fantastic. It's at 2.27. He's coming off a win in St. Louis and a win in Colorado, so we got 2 wins on the last road trip. The win against the Cardinals, he didn't allow a run in 7 innings. It's been a while since he's pitched against the Nationals. How about you have to go back to 2006 when he pitched in relief. Giants have won 14 of his last 17 starts. How about that? Defense behind Vogelsong will look like this. In the outfield from left to right, it'll be Cabrera, Pagan, and Pence. Scudero, Arias, Terrio, and Belt from third to first. And the very hot-hitting Buster Posey will be behind the plate catching Vogelsong. The Nationals, well, all they own is the best record in baseball. We talked earlier about their road record. It's phenomenal. They're 39-22 on the road, and it just doesn't get any better than that. So the Giants know that they'll have their hands full, and after getting swept in Washington, D.C., they've been looking forward to this 3-game series here at AT&T Park. All right, sit back and enjoy this one. Mike Krukow is on assignment, and here to tell you about innings 1 and 2 is John Miller. John.
All right, Kite, thanks, and here we go. The sun setting over the Pacific and also shining into the eyes of the hitter off the scoreboard complex in center. The rest of the field is covered in the shadows. And the first pitch, and it's 0-1 to Steve Lombardozzi, the son of a former major leaguer. 63 degrees, the official game time temperature here at AT&T Park. That's a base hit to center. But Lombardozzi, who's been hitting well. Ian Desmond, the regular shortstop for the Nationals, is out with an injury, and since he's been gone, the regular second baseman Espinosa has moved over to shortstop, and Lombardozzi's been playing second. Lombardozzi came into this game hitting .270, so he's aboard, and the batter will be Bryce Harper, the 19-year-old, only 1 hit in his last 18 at bats. He got aboard in the first inning yesterday in Arizona against the rookie left-hander Patrick Corbin, and then got picked off. So things are not going well for him right now as he takes a called strike. But Harper gave this club a huge injection of energy and base hits and RBIs. Bryce Harper, 6 feet 3 inches tall, and very few in the history of the game have ever made it to the big leagues at such a young age. Right on the outside corner around the knees, and Dan Bellino says strike 2. You see right there, Kaipe was pretty steady until the hot, humid days of the summer in Washington.
Yeah, look, he's just a baby. And, you know, he wasn't going to stay hot the entire way, so he has cooled down a bit.
Strike 3 call on the inside corner.
Well, John, that's getting set up. It's away from the target, but everything away until that last pitch. And Bryce Harper may be looking location and not getting it.
One away. Here's Ryan Zimmerman.
Although he could have been looking for the pitch that Buster wanted. And Vogelsong completely threw it away from the target.
Although Vogelsong, here's the stretch for the pitch to Ryan Zimmerman, the powerful right-handed batting third baseman, and that's just off the inside. Every once in a while, they think a guy is expecting something, or maybe even sneaking a peek. Instead of that glove being the target, maybe the left knee on the shin guard becomes the target. Absolutely. Things like that. 1 ball and no strikes to Zimmerman. On the outside, so he started him inside, works back to the outside, and it's 1-1. Zimmerman, only 27 years old, out of the University of Virginia, 278 average, and he spent some time on the disabled list this year, and then was into a big slump when he got back. That's over with. And he's putting up some numbers now. 16 homers, 26 doubles, 65 batted in. Back to the inside and fouled into the crowd off to the right into the second deck.
You know, John, he got hot right when the Giants got to Washington, D.C.
Giants were there in time for the 4th of July holiday, and it was stinking hot. Man. In what they call the tidal basin. He also has grounded into a lot of double plays. He's a profound double play candidate. The Giants set for the double play. Arias at short, Cherio at second, Belt on the bag at first with the runner, Lombardozzi. Now Posey's going to go out and chat with Ryan Vogelsong. Vogelsong leading the league in earned run average. And the matchups in this series definitely would remind you of what you're liable to see come October in the postseason.
Absolutely.
Tomorrow, Madison Bumgarner up against Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman is just behind Vogelsong in earned run average. That's too high for a ball. Zimmerman is number 2. And then Wednesday afternoon, Tim Lincecum, 2-time Cy Young award winner, up against Steven Strasburg, the young phenom of the Nationals. Lincecum-like. Adam LaRoche on deck. Oh, just off the outside. That was close, and I don't know how Zimmerman could take a pitch like that with 2 strikes.
Well, it may have been that Vogelsong wanted that ball to come back just a little bit more, but even with that, that is a close pitch to take.
So Zimmerman apparently just has an incredible eye up there. Lombardozzi back to the bag.
John, I would suspect with Zimmerman's double play totals that on this 3-2 pitch, Lombardozzi would be on the move.
There's Belt on the bag with him. We'll keep an eye on him here. 3-2 the count. There he goes. And the ball is back into the second deck, out of play. Lombardozzi back to first. Lombardozzi's not a base stealer. He just happens to be the leadoff man, but he's only stolen 3 bases in 5 tries. Playing in his 96th game of the year. The final from Pittsburgh is in. The Dodgers won it, and they've won 3 out of 4 back on the East Coast. Aaron Harang got the win over Jeff Karstens, and Kenley Jansen saved it. Lombardozzi runs again, and that is a foul. Changed up on him that time, and Zimmerman was able to fight it off. So Vogelsong is in a battle now with Zimmerman. Pablo Sandoval activated from the disabled list today after his 3-day rehab assignment with the San Jose Ball Club. Brett Pill was sent back to Fresno. There goes the runner. Hit well to right field. Up against the wall into the big part of the yard. Lombardozzi around third. He's going to score. It's a long double for Zimmerman. And it is 1-0 Nationals. 66th RBI of the year for Zimmerman.
Well, this at bat to Zimmerman, the last 4 pitches were away, and Zimmerman was on this. Now, it wasn't location-wise, it was a bit up, but it was to the outer half of the plate, and you got to give Zimmerman credit for going the other way. Tell you what, that ball just jumped right over the head of Hunter Pence.
Pence goes back pretty well on the ball. He had just no chance to go back on that one. Now Adam LaRoche, 23 homers, 75 batted in. Change up low. LaRoche having a big comeback season. He was injured most of last year, and when he played, he did not play well. So big return for the veteran. And you're into that part of the lineup now. You get Harper, Zimmerman, LaRoche, Morris, and all of them can take the ball out of the ballpark. Curveball, strike one.
Yeah, you mentioned it, John, when we were doing our lineup cards. There isn't a small guy in the bunch. They're all huge.
The only guy in the lineup who is below 6 feet tall is Kurt Suzuki, the catcher, and he's 5'11". Headed for foul ground and for the seats, and just out of play behind the tarp.
You'll see the numbers. Home runs by first baseman. 23 for LaRoche, then Pujols, and 3 others tied with 20. The Nationals with the best record in baseball, and Adam LaRoche is a big reason why they have that great record.
Gio Gonzalez, who hit his own home run in his last start against Houston last week. He's the starter for the Nationals tonight, and he's already ahead. Michael Morris on deck. That ball is pulled deep and foul and off the bricks. And that ball got there in a hurry.
Well, not many swings and misses right now. Harper took a call third.
Runner in scoring position, Zimmerman. Arias is playing almost right behind him, almost right up the middle. That got him looking. And I can't imagine where LaRoche thought that one was. He stood there as if he was shocked.
Perfect location. And I can only think that Adam LaRoche was looking middle in.
So 2 down. And here's Morris. So maybe he's saying away. He's never thrown a pitch away in a spot like that in his whole career.
My goodness.
I'm stunned. Get me the video. Show me where he's done that before. There's a curveball in the dirt. But guys do look, they spend a lot of time checking out the videos. They see the pictures. Other times they've faced him. They check out video of the guy's most recent starts, especially facing guys who are similar to them, looking for tendencies. Michael Morris, who was out for a good part of the early season with a lat muscle strain, and that one almost hit him.
Well, I think that pitch was not intended to hit Michael Morris. What it was intended to do was to let everybody know, from the guy in the box to the guys watching in the Nationals dugout, that I'm not going to go away the whole game. I will come inside.
That's Espinosa on deck. 2 down, runner at second. A run is in, and the curveball just kind of hung there, but out to Hunter Pence. He got away with it. But the Nationals have a run. The Giants are coming up. Pagan, Scudero, and Melky.
Coming up, and this is the lineup that Gio Gonzalez will be facing, and it'll be Pagan in the leadoff spot, followed by Scudero and then Melky Cabrera. You see Buster Posey's his numbers this season against lefties, and they're good, followed by Pence and then Terrio. Brandon Belt gets to start against the lefty, followed by Arias, and Ryan Vogelsong will pitch him Ben ninth. So here's Gio Gonzalez's numbers, and they're very good. 14-6 in a very tough National League East with a 3.32 ERA. He has never faced the Giants in a Nationals uniform. And you see the numbers against lefties and righties, they're low. 215 left-handers, 207 right-handers. That's how good he's been this year.
Nobody seems to hit well against him. He's only allowed 6 home runs in 141 innings. Way outside, ball one. Now, there have been times in the past, and again this year, when he tends to be a little bit wild. He's averaged more than 3 walks per 9 innings. Bluffing the bunt, Pagan takes a fastball to the outside at the knees for a strike. He was 16-12 last year for the Athletics, and it was not a good Oakland club last year. No. So he had an impressive season with them, and it was kind of a shock when he got traded. That's back out of play. And he'll change speeds in that fastball. Sometimes around 90, sometimes upwards to 95.
And he's got a really good curveball too.
One and two. Pagan hitting .278. There's that curve, caught at short by Espinosa. Little bad luck there for Pagan.
Now defensively for the Nationals, in the outfield it'll be Morris, Harp. Check that. In the outfield it'll be Bernardina, Harper, and then Morris, and then Zimmerman, Espinosa, Lombardozzi, and LaRoche from third to first, and Suzuki will catch Gonzalez. So a couple of former A's, your battery tonight.
Marco Scudero now. Scudero also formerly with the Oakland A's, although it's been a few years now since he was there. Well, he got the outside pitch there. Strike one. That's a pitch similar to the one that Vogelsong wanted. He thought he had Zimmerman struck out with. The umpire said no, and then later he hit a double to knock in a run. Well, that's that quick bat of Scudero. That ball is right into the hand, and he ripped it foul. 0-2. Marco Scudero, 277 overall. As a Giant, he's hitting .313. 1-0 Nationals, 1 out, nobody on in the twilight here in San Francisco. Gio Gonzalez still looking at it. Suzuki. Now the pitch. Curveball. Espinosa. Out number 2. They say Espinosa has been excellent at shortstop. That's probably his #1 position, but Desmond is the regular shortstop, so he plays second. But it's been no fall off in defense. Some even think maybe he's been a little bit better than Desmond at short.
He's got a terrific arm. I never liked those guys that played second that had those really good arms. I felt like they shouldn't be playing there. They need to play over on the other side.
Well, you were a second baseman. Yeah. You knew that was overkill.
That's it.
The Milkman fouls one away.
Our Exmo brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. See the very smooth and compact motion of Gio Gonzalez.
And that sinking fastball a little bit low on the outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cabrera hitting .348, 11 homers, 60 batted in, second best batting average in the league. Ooh, sharp breaking ball. Did he swing? Yes, he did, says Jerry Lane, the first base umpire on appeal.
Well, take a look at it. Some say yes, others may say no. Probably yes.
Ooh, puts him away with the high fastball. Jets down in order. Vogelsong back to the mound, trailing.
Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit HEFINS.com.
1-0 Washington leading the Giants as we start the second inning. I'm John Miller with Dwayne Kuiper, your Giants telecasters. Mike Krukow not here on assignment. People might ask, what does on assignment mean? It means he's not here. It's in television speak for he's not here.
It also means we don't want to tell you what he's doing.
Yeah, we learned that when we went to the International Spy Museum in Washington, D.C.
Just say you're on assignment. Could be anywhere.
Yeah,
he might be here.
I think he's working for a corporation somewhere over in Eastern Europe right now, selling vacuum cleaners.
He's doing the game in his shoe.
Backing out of play off the bat of Danny Espinosa. Got 11 home runs, 39 batted in. Facing Ryan Vogelsong. Vogelsong trailing 1-0. Nationals began the night leading the East. That curve almost hit him in the foot. They began with a 4.5 game edge over the second place Atlanta Braves. The Braves were beaten tonight by the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, look out for the Padres.
Padres are hot. Padres have won 8 of their last 11. That was foul tipped and held by Posey. Another excellent curveball. Now let's go down to Amy G.
All right, John, as you mentioned, Pablo was activated before tonight's game, and the skipper spoke about it before the game today, saying that having Pablo back is very important, and he will help this team. Now, he's available off the bench tonight. He is slated to play tomorrow and Wednesday. Bruce Boccio also saying that having Pablo will lengthen this lineup. It gives him another power bat, but his mere presence in the lineup is a weapon in and of itself. Gentlemen?
All right, Amy, thank you. And a ball back off the leg of Vogelsong, hit by Bernardina, and Vogelsong recovers and throws him out, and Posey's out to just make sure he's okay.
Did it not look like he did this on purpose? Watch his hip. I'm not going to use my glove. So he calmly picks it up. Now he's ticked because it hurts. So here he goes. Now watch how he's ticked off because he realizes it hurts, and he throws a 92-mile-an-hour two-seamer to Brendan Belt.
Ouch. He didn't really realize it hurt until after he threw the guy out.
Hey, he thought it was a good idea until he went to pick it up.
Hip save and a beauty. It looked like a goaltender.
That was great.
And there's a strike to Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki back in San Francisco for the first time since he was with the Athletics playing interleague ball here back in I guess it was May. The A's came over here. Nationals have had some injury problems to their catchers, and they were very excited to be able to get the veteran like Suzuki, who is renowned as a great handler of pitchers.
It was a great pickup.
And their top catchers are mostly young guys. Jesus Flores is the other catcher. One is hit high in the air, left center, big part of the yard, and that's the inning. Pagan. Buster Posey, red hot, and he's coming up. When we come back, Posey against Gio.
Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by the Solar Company. Call 877-60-SOLAR for a free analysis or visit thesolarco.com.
The Giants trailing 1-0 as they come to bat in the last of the second inning against the Washington Nationals. And there is Buster Posey. Buster comes in hitting .332. He only had one hit in yesterday's game, but also 3 walks and a sacrifice fly that tied the game, hitting .449. in his last 27 games. And it's been special to be able to watch it daily. Zimmerman plays that short hop nicely. Look at that throw. I think he prefers to make throws from down there.
You're right. I think he charges balls that other guys wouldn't charge just because he gets to throw off balance. I mean, I think he would be a good, like Dan Quisenberry, if he wanted to retire, because he throws a lot of balls from right there. Quisenberry used to be a guy that closed for Kansas City Royals years ago.
Submarine pitcher.
Yep.
And he was one of those guys who go 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah, he was good
to close the game. Here is Hunter Pence. And it's ball 1. Hunter, who is facing the Nationals, and he says this is the Geico quote of the game. It's going to be a big series and a tough series, and they're playing great ball, but they're coming here, and it's not easy to play here. Our pitching staff is pretty good too. It's going to be an exciting series. It's going to be something you can see later on down the line as well. And I'm reading between the lines. I'm thinking he means come October.
Yeah, I think he is.
3-0. Well, he deferred all of the plaudits after his game-winning home run yesterday to Buster Posey. Yeah. He said, hey, that gave him that 10-pitch battle. That's a strike from Gio Gonzalez, 3-1. He said that's like 10 wind sprints that guy had to run facing Buster as hot as he is. Kind of took it out of him.
It was an absolute great at bat.
And that's ball 4 off the outside.
This was the home run. It came after that at bat by Buster Posey. This was the second pitch from Betancourt, and he got some backspin on it. And this one went around 2 rows, and it lit up this crowd, and it lit up the dugout, and it lit up the broadcast booth. And it was fun to watch, and it was fun to watch him feel like he really contributed, and he certainly did.
Ryan Theriot now. Pens at first. And Theriot takes a called strike. I heard the highlight, the radio highlight with it, and Dave was on the mic. Yep. And 96.1 up there in Reading, where I was yesterday. They carry the radio broadcast. It gave me goosebumps because the crowd got excited as the ball was in flight, and then when it landed and Dave said gone, there was an extra explosion of crowd noise.
They went off.
Oh, he changed up. Fooled him badly.
Well, also, he had 2 other at-bats where he had line drives that were caught. I mean, the box score looks like, yeah, he got the 1 big hit, but he actually hit the ball well all day yesterday.
1-2 the count to Theriot. Bryce Harper calling off Bernardina. Pence was halfway to second, so he'll go back to first. 2 down.
This is a big park for big guys and even bigger for little guys. Well, Saturday the 25th is America Cup Day at AT Park. It's out in Triples Alley. Visit VP Special Event Package. It includes Triples Alley, complimentary food and beverage, and a special edition America's Cup themed Giants hat. 415-972-2298 or visit sfgiants.com/special events.
Brandon Belt coming off a 4-hit game yesterday. 260 average now. Curveball, he got the call on that one. Strike on the outside. Belt with a 360 on base percentage. And even though he's not hitting for any power, he only has 4 home runs. His OPS, his ops, 761. Not bad. Not great, but not bad either. A ball under strike to Brandon Belt.
Now you forget that the 4 home runs all off of lefties. Oh, and Gio Gonzalez, if you haven't noticed, is a lefty.
You know, I was thinking that, but
just pointed out.
on the outside with a fastball. 1-2.
Probably not going to hit that one out unless he goes into left field.
He might need a longer bat.
And a longer bat, that's right.
He gets up fairly close to the plate, opens up his stance, feet wide apart. 1-2. 2 down. Whoa! That one almost took Gonzalez's head with it into center field. Man, he smoked that one right back at Gio.
Well, look out. You throw it, and you better duck. And he almost caught it. That's the amazing thing. But a nice at bat. Belt waiting on the breaking ball, waiting nicely. And it did. It hit off the top of his glove.
Well, his body was hitting the deck, but he stuck that glove up there. And you could hear it hit the glove. So now here is Arias. 2 on, 2 out. Ball 1. Arias hitting only .262, but against lefties, his average is .317. And he's been swinging the bat pretty well here lately. But he's at his best against left-handed pitching. Base hit could tie the game here. 2 on, 2 out. 2-0. Now he's got a base open, and he got Vogelsong up next.
Well, he's been unhappy with Bellino on the last 2 pitches. But you're right. He didn't have to throw him a strike now.
Pence at second. Belt at first. Ready to go at the crack of the bat with 2 down. Down the right field line. Foul. And a souvenir. Well, which guy got it?
No,
There he is.
Yeah.
Did he catch it in his hat?
Either that or he tried to hide it in his hat.
Pretty smooth. That will lazily make its way back into the crowd. Strike 2.
John, you talked about Gio Gonzalez being able to get a little extra. That last pitch at 94. So when he wants it, it's there. And he's using it now to Arias.
And that's on top of having an excellent changeup. Curveball. 2 on, 2 out. Giants down by a run. Fastball. Espinosa over to second base. Lombardozzi gets the put out on Belt. On to the third. Vogelsong will go back out trailing 1-0. AT&T Park in the regular season a week from Thursday, August 23rd, and they'll be here for 4 games. And Saturday the 25th, a 1:05 start, America's Cup Day. The first 20,000 fans receive an Oracle Team USA commemorative poster courtesy of Oracle Team USA. And on Sunday, that game has been shifted to accommodate the national telecast. It will now start not at 1:05 but at 5:05. That's Sunday the 26th. The first 25,000 fans receive a Pablo Sandoval bobblehead courtesy of Remax. sfgiants.com. Tickets available right now. Giants are trailing 1-0. Gio Gonzalez leads off against Ryan Vogelsong as we go to the third with the play-by-play. With great pleasure, I give you Dwayne Kuiper. Speak up, Dwayne. We're having a little technical difficulty. 1 ball and no strikes to count, and Vogelsong fires a fastball to Gio, fouls back. Now, Gio hit a home run, remember, in his last game. He's got 5 hits and 43 at-bats, including that home run this year.
And 4 RBIs for Gonzalez. And here he pops this one up, and that's going to reach the seats. And it's 1-2.
Well, this was the game in Houston. That one found the Crawford boxes.
Well, if you're going to hit him, that's the direction you should go. Right down the left field line. And Gonzalez is thinking that's the pitch that I want as well. Is Vogelsong at the knees and maybe the outside corner. What do you think? Maybe 6 inches off the plate. So here's Lombardozzi, who opened up the ball game with a line drive into center field. He eventually scored on Zimmerman's double over the head of Hunter Pence. And this pitch is inside, a fastball. 1 ball and no strikes with Bryce Harper to follow. Vogelsong hasn't walked anybody, and that's not unusual, and he's got 4 strikeouts. In at third is Scudero. And tight again, 2-0. John mentioned the Dodgers beat the Pirates today. A good ball game in Pittsburgh. A 5-4 final. Outfield straight away for Lombardozzi. And he fouls this one down the left field line and out of play. It's 2-1. Vogelsong gets a new baseball. This Nationals team, any numbers that they have team-wise are good. The one that's just average is how they played against the National League West. They're 13-11. Low and in, it's 3-1. And part of those 13 wins, remember, was the sweep of the Giants right around the 4th of July. 3 balls and 1 strike. And the walk. Maybe Vogelsong wanted that one.
Looked over, but a little bit low. Bryce Harper, his first at bat. He was not up there long. This was the first pitch. Strike 1 called on the outside. Strike 2 called, same spot. And then to the inside. Strike 3 called, and he knew it. Yep.
Three pitches. Back in there against Vogelsong with Lombardozzi at first. On the ground into left field, a base hit. So Vogelsong went away to Harper like he did on the first pitch in his first at bat, and he just takes it right in between Scudero and Arias. And now National runners at first and second.
Well, there it is. And it was the identical pitch to the, not just the first one, the first 2 the last time up there.
And maybe the kid was paying attention. Zimmerman got a pitch away, a 3-2 pitch that he hit over the head of Hunter Pence. Big, strong, powerful third baseman for the Nationals. Holds that bat up high. And Posey setting up on the inner half of the plate. And it misses. 1 ball and no strikes.
A little bit low again. Well, the Nationals hitters looking very disciplined up there. As Vogelsong likes to get ahead in the count and maybe tantalize him, get him to chase a little bit out of the zone.
Theriot holding Lombardozzi close at second, and this time it is high enough to call it a strike, and it's a ball and a strike. We mentioned earlier the double play numbers for Zimmerman. He hits into a lot of them, but he also hits some home runs as well. Into center field, Pagan coming in. He's not going to catch it. Holding at third is Lombardozzi. Is Belt late as far as getting into cutoff position. Does get there in time. And now the bases are loaded for LaRoche.
Sounded like he broke his back hitting that ball into center. So he didn't hit it well. He kind of muscled it over the infield. There's the deke.
Plus you get that big swing, John, by a big strong hitter, and it usually is going to freeze an outfielder, so they're not going to get a great jump. So now Vogelsong will have to go after LaRoche. With the bases loaded, LaRoche struck out looking in the first inning. Arias and Theriot looking for the double play. At the knees, no balls and 1 strike.
It's a big moment in this game right now. They got a chance to really open up the lead, and this is their RBI guy. 3 grand slams in his career. But he's had 75 runs batted in this year, number 1 on the club.
See LaRoche slightly open stance. He stands upright. And he takes that pitch in to even the count at 1 ball and 1 strike.
In fact, he's tied for 6th in the league in RBIs. Just 1 behind Buster Posey, who is number 5. And LaRoche is also tied for 4th in the league in home runs.
So Vogelsong looking for that strikeout pop-up or double play ball.
This is the kind of spot where he's been at his best.
Swing and a miss. 1 and 2.
Nobody's been tougher to hit, as you saw in that graphic, with men in scoring position than Ryan Vogelsong.
So the fans behind Vogelsong trying to get out of this mess. Here in the 3rd inning, bases loaded, 1 out. A walk and a pair of singles. And the pitch to LaRoche is up high, 2 and 2. And I believe that pitch was made to set up this one. "46 pitches for Vogelsong. Lombardozzi, Harper, and Zimmerman.
This will be his 18th pitch of this inning.
And the 2-2 out of play. Came back with a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. So Vogelsong, who had been cruising around 90, tries to pick it up a little bit, and LaRoche fouled it down the left field line. There are your runners, Lombardozzi, Harper, and Zimmerman. The Nationals putting some heat on Vogelsong here in the 3rd. Now it's a full count. So some might think, well, this is where Vogelsong is going to challenge Adam LaRoche. I don't believe that's the case. He's going to try to make a pitch. Three and two. Buster Posey setting up away, and it's foul back and out of play.
High stress inning, and he has not given up more than 2 earned runs in 12 consecutive starts in this ballpark going back to last year. He's given up 1 already tonight, and they have the bases loaded with 1 out here.
3 and 2. Arias and Terrio shading LaRoche to pull on the infield. Now everybody is ready, and the payoff is high. He walked LaRoche, and that walks in a run. And Dave Righetti's going to go out to give Vogelsong a breather. So it's now 2-0. 2 walks in the inning, and that's unusual for Vogelsong. Rarely does he hurt himself. Give LaRoche an RBI. He's now got 76. And Lombardozzi has scored both runs in this game. He singled and scored in the first, walked and scored here in the third. But not out of the woods yet, as Morris is going to hit with the bases loaded.
And it was that walk to Lombardozzi that got the whole thing started.
Yep.
And neither one of the hits were hit well. Harper just took a fastball away and bounced it through the left side. Nice hitting. And then Ryan Zimmerman with just a broken bat bloop into center for a hit. But he's had a hard time putting away first Zimmerman in the first inning with 2 strikes, and then LaRoche here with 2 strikes.
Here's Morris. Boy, Morris had a rip, and he fouls it straight back.
He had a breakthrough year last year, 30 home runs. He'd always been kind of a part-time guy in Seattle. And then you wonder if Seattle eventually cut him loose and he becomes a star home run hitter with the Nationals last year. He missed the first 50 games of this year, but he's come back hitting well.
On the ground, Scudero off his glove, and it rolls away from him. A run comes in, and it's 3-0. It'll be an infield hit and an RBI for Morris. And right now, Vogelsong's having a hard time stopping these Nationals. If Scudero makes this play, he's got a shot at maybe a double play. But that's not how it works. So it's 3-0, and the bases stay loaded. And the hitter is Espinoza.
Fans are not used to seeing this with Vogelsong on the mound.
No. You're right. The one thing he does is really bear down and pitch well with people on base. And he's not getting stung around, but nevertheless, good at bats from the Nationals.
He's also now thrown 23 pitches in this inning and still has only 1 out.
On the ground, Terrio kicks it, and he kicks it into shallow right field. Only 1 run comes in. Really not paying attention was LaRoche, who stopped at third, and it'll be another base hit and an RBI for Espinoza.
Well, they're just putting the ball in play here. On another day, that could have been a double play ball, and not an elegant finish by Ryan Terrio, who decided to lay out for this one.
Hit his foot.
And the foot got in the way.
Yep.
It's more like what a soccer player, how he would go after a ball like that.
That's exactly right. Here's Bernardina who hit one back off of Vogelsong in the second. And a breaking ball for a strike. Watch LaRoche rounding third as the third base coach was pointing and telling him to stay put. So it's 0-1 to Bernardina. Line drive off of Vogelsong. Scudero knocks it down, throws, not in time. Make it Terrio. And I don't know about that one.
Bruce Bochy is going to discuss this one with Jerry Lane. And he's already out. Well, I think it was a pretty good call. What do you think?
No, I think,
he got him.
Yep.
That first freeze frame, I don't think the ball was in the glove yet. But he only had a couple words with Lane and he got tossed.
Must have been the key words.
Yeah, he was out. Couple inches. It's in there, and he's out. Except he's not out.
Except the bases stay loaded. And the hitter will be Suzuki. 4 runs in here in the third inning. And that's how fast Bruce Bochy got thrown out of the ball game. We're seeing some bullpen activity as Suzuki is going to take a pitch inside. 1 ball and no strikes. It's going to be Brad Penny. So a 4-run third inning and the bases are still loaded. I'm not sure how many balls have actually been hit to the outfield, but it doesn't really matter.
It's 3 straight infield singles.
And that's a fair ball down the left field line. And this one is going to hurt. We've got 2 runners are going to score. Bernardina is going to score. And that clears the bases on the double by Kurt Suzuki. A double and 3 RBIs. And the only hitter that's been retired in this inning is Gonzalez, and he's coming up.
Well, this one was just right along the line. No chance for Scudero. And all the way into the corner. No carom off the sidewall. And they all score. Morris, Espinosa, and Bernardina. It's a 7-run inning.
So here's Gonzalez as he takes a breaking ball high. 1 ball and no strikes. So after Gonzalez struck out, the walk to Lombardozzi, that led things off as Gonzalez swings and misses. Harper a hit to left. Zimmerman a flare to center. A walk to LaRoche. Morris an infield hit. Espinosa a hit off the foot of Terrio. Bernardina an infield hit. And Suzuki a double down the left field line. As Gonzalez got a piece of this one, and it stays at 1-2.
Well, to give you an idea how utterly stupefying this is for people who've watched Vogelsong be so strong start after start after start. In his last 5 starts combined, he gave up 8 runs total in 32 1/3 innings, and he's given up 8 in 2 1/3 innings to the red-hot Nationals. You know, the inning kind of reminds me as Gonzalez strikes out again. Remember last year, the interleague play, the Minnesota Twins, who had about an 8 or 9 game winning streak, they came to town. They were red hot. and they faced Madison Bumgarner. It was the first inning of the game. And, a couple guys really hit the ball hard, but they also had a lot of balls that were just out of the reach or just off the glove. And every single guy got a hit, but you had that collection of hits after the walk to LaRoche. On another night, any one of them might have been an out, or all of them might have been an out.
Yep. One of those nights is Lombardozzi hits for the second time this inning. And he shoots it into right field for a base hit. Pence is going to get to it. And his throw is going to go all the way to Buster Posey. Stopping at third was Suzuki.
And there's Ron Wotus, the acting manager. And he gives the signal, hey, go talk to him. That's 33 pitches in the inning thrown for Vogelsong. At this point, I think it's the diminishing returns. In other words, this game, it's already 8 runs, and the pitch count's already high. It's a nightmarish inning. We just need a little time to get Brad Penny fully warmed up in the bullpen. And now, after they had their stalling tactic, Wotus heads out to the mound. Well, this has been a season punctuated by the steadiness of Vogelsong. Vogelsong has not gone lost, or had not gone less than 6 innings in any start this year.
Yep. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change tune-up and smog experts. We'll be back. Eight nothing, 7 runs here in the third inning. And Brad Penny's going to be the new pitcher. So Penny's going to come in to try to save the day, calm things down. He's been in, this will be his 15th appearance, a 4.74 ERA.
Now, I don't know if he's in time to save the whole day, but
how about save this inning?
They'll take that.
Harper fouls it down the left field line and out of play. Harper in this inning single to left field. Zimmerman is on deck. Harper lifts it to Melky Cabrera, and this will finally end the inning. So a 7th spot. Giants have tons of work to do. It's 8-0 Nationals. Stories, August 13th, 04. Giants power their way to a 16-6 victory over the Phillies in their first game at Citizens Bank Park. JT Snow, what did he do? Well, he paced the offensive attack. 3 home runs. The home run frenzy also included Barry Bonds, Marquise Grissom, and A.J. Brzezinski, who's only got 23 this year. What's up with that?
Brzezinski become a home run hitter all of a sudden. What was that score? 19-6?
16-6.
Only 16?
Yeah. A lot of solo home runs from JT Snow that day. Brad Penny's going to hit. See the numbers for Penny. He's got 3 home runs. No balls and 2 strikes. And then Pagan and then Scudero. $8-0 Nationals. Penny, a little dribbler. And Gonzalez will throw him out. All right, let's check in with Amy G. Amy.
All right, gentlemen, it's been a tough game so far, but the fans are having some fun because it's a special night here at AT Park. It is Frank Sinatra tribute night. The Giants are doing a lot of fun stuff, including while the Giants are batting on the scoreboard, they've put them into some Rat Pack suits. They look good that way. Giants fans received a pretty cool poster. You've been seeing it advertised on our broadcast with Lincecum, Bumgarner, and Kane alongside old Blue Eyes. And Frank Sinatra was a personal friend of Willie Mays and often came to games at Candlestick. So a lot of good music here and things to enjoy, guys.
All right, Amy, thanks. I feel better now.
As long as they're having fun.
Oh, my goodness.
Willie McCovey had a great story that he told about it, about Sinatra. McCovey played his last game, announcing his retirement. His last game was in L.A. When the game was over, Mike Murphy said, Willie, you got a phone call. He goes in. It's Frank Sinatra.
Oh, right.
He says, hey, I know it's your last game today. Congratulations. I've been a big fan following your career. And tonight, I'm having my final concert. I'm retiring too. And he invited him. He said, I'm going to dedicate the whole thing to you.
Right.
So, kind of a special.
That is. That's pretty cool.
Little moment between McCovey and Sinatra.
Pagan slams one to center field. Harper on the move. Harper reaches up and it bounces over the center field wall for a double.
Tina Sinatra, the daughter of Frank Sinatra, was here for the first pitch ceremony. Sergio Romo always receives the first pitch. And she's like, wait a minute, you mean out here on this hill? She kept signaling to him, just come a little closer.
She throws a heavy ball, knocked Sergio right over.
Sergio very much.
And she looks good in her Giants scarf.
Absolutely. Here's Scudero with Pagan now at second base. And a fastball high. 1 ball and no strikes. It's about the time you're in the dugout, and the last thing anybody wants to hear is some guy going, hey, we can do this. What you're yelling at is, hey, let's let them know we're out here. Let's give them a finish. Chopped. Espinosa behind the bag. Scudero is out. Pagan moves to third. And Cabrera is going to hit.
There's a writer, Don DeLillo, and he wrote an epic novel called Underworld. But the first part of that all takes place at the old Polo Grounds at a Giants-Dodgers game that was the famous playoff game, October 3rd, the Bobby Thompson game. And that was so substantial, he later made sort of a novelette out of it and sold that as a separate book called Pafko at the Wall. Because Pafko was the left fielder who went back on Thompson's home run. And in the book, Sinatra's at the game along with Jackie Gleason.
LaRoche is going to kill this inning. And is the ending long, John?
He ends up just before Thompson's homer. Jackie Gleason throws up all over Frank Sinatra's lap.
That's good.
Everybody got excited, jumped up, except Sinatra.
Dave Fleming, no. At 5 p.m. on Chronicle Live. Log into sfgiants.com/CSN Bay Area all week long. Dave Fleming is here.
Kipe.
Penny throws, and he throws a fastball for a strike.
That third inning was sort of hard to believe.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get over it, and I'm not sure I'm quite there yet, but the Giants find themselves deep in a hole. And the reason it's odd, just because of who is out on the mound, who is just so steady and so consistent. Bruce Bochy gets kicked out of the game. Ron Wotus now in charge. I'm sure Bruce Bochy watching this one closely somewhere. Zimmerman takes low. On deck is Adam LaRoche. Seems like these guys have hit about 12 times already. It's like an old-timers game. Bouncing ball up the middle, and that's a base hit. Zimmerman is on his way to a classic game. He's 3 for 3. So over on the radio side, did things look just about the same?
They look pretty similar, I have to say. Yeah, and look, you got to give the Nationals credit. Ryan Zimmerman, I thought he was a big part of it. His battle in the first, and then another gritty at bat last inning. But how many infield hits, balls that were ricocheting everywhere? Not to say the Nationals didn't earn it, but that was a bad luck inning for Vogelsong.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot Vogelsong could do. As LaRoche stands in, and he skies this one into left center field. It'll be in the park to Pagan. Zimmerman's going to tag, and here's the throw, and he's going to make it.
Wow. Playing the game, even with the score 8-0.
So it was, a little bit of a risky play.
Yeah.
And I think it caught Pagan by surprise. So here's Michael Morris.
You can almost see from that replay there, that look, that he went back to tag and he started and he watched and saw Pagan with that little hesitation. And then I think decided to test him.
Test him he did. He's at second with 1 out. Morris had an infield hit in the 3rd inning. 10 hits total for the Nationals. And the pitch is low. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, we saw this Nationals team more than a month ago, and Morse was back then, but just sort of still getting back up to speed. Zimmerman was finally getting healthy. Now they got Jason Worth healthy, although he's not playing tonight. It's even with Ian Desmond on the DL, this is a deeper Nationals team.
It's a good lineup. Giants have seen a couple of good lineups. They left St. Louis impressed with that lineup. So Worth finds himself way ahead in the count, 3-0. We're in the 4th inning. And a 4-pitch walk. And that'll bring to the plate Danny Espinosa.
And it's really a night, Kipe, where the Giants have that extra arm in the bullpen. The bullpen is fine, but they're looking to get some innings out of Brad Penny. They'd like him to pitch
into the 6th at least.
Into the 6th, yeah.
Yeah, you know your bullpen's going to get chewed up. You just want to limit how chewed up it's going to get. Espinosa takes a breaking ball for a strike. Struck out in the 2nd, singled, and knocked in a run in the 3rd. I've seen a happier milkman in my life, I have to tell you that. This guy looks like he just delivered some spoiled milk.
Sour.
Down low.
Milk's tasting a little sour tonight.
Maybe at some point we can get that gentleman to smile before the 9th inning. 1-1 pitch to Espinosa. Swinging a foul, 1-2. Oh, or yawn, one or the other.
Hang in there.
One ball and 2 strikes. Zimmerman at second, Morse at first. Look out.
Wow.
It's 1-2. And that gets on you very quickly with the dugout so close to the field.
At least for that moment, Bruce Bochy may be happy he's not right there at the top rail.
That's exactly right. Penny at the belt to look to second in the pitch. Chopper. It's going to be Terrio. No chance. And it'll be another infield hit. Yeah, they got the wand going.
They're going to set an all-time big league record for infield hits in a game. Unofficial.
Well, Espinosa runs pretty good.
Yeah, he was safe that time. The previous one?
The previous one they had him. Here's Bernardino. Fouled out of play. Yeah. Can we get the lady back on the phone? I'm going to ask her to get him to smile.
What do you mean we're on?
Can you ask him to smile? See if he has any teeth. Hunter Pence is going to look up, and this one is off the bricks. 1 run's going to score. 2 runs are going to score. And holding up at third was Espinosa. As Bernardino hits one off the bricks.
Keep going, Chip.
Stopping at third.
There it is.
Espinosa. And Dave Rigetti's coming out. All right, let's check out a trivia question. That seems to be more interesting right now. It's our AT&T trivia question. Bryce Harper is the 6th teenager in Major League history to hit 10 home runs in a single season. Name the player to achieve this in a Giants uniform. I'd like to know all of the other 5.
Yeah, well, we can find that out. The Giants, the answer to this question, maybe the greatest teenager ever in the history of baseball.
Right. We'll
Teenage season.
We'll check that out.
You know, that last play in a low pressure situation, the game's obviously out of hand already, but Hunter Pence gets a chance to watch how that ball plays off the wall.
Yeah. There's a line drive into center field, a base hit. They're going to hold Bernardina as Espinosa comes in to score. So Suzuki with his 2nd hit. I'm just afraid that at some point somebody's going to go down.
Oh, it's getting ugly. They have 13 hits, 1 out into the 4th inning. And they're starting to be a little louder. A lot of those infield hits, but
Gonzalez has struck out twice. And there's a swing and a miss. It's 11-0 here in the 4th inning. We'll start taking calls here in a little bit. Oh, and 2. If I were Gio Gonzalez, I would at least make it look good, but I would strike out here. Maharis heads down to the bullpen. The 1-2.
Well, it's sure not looking like Penny's going to be able to get the Giants into that 6th inning. So hard to judge a guy in a spot like this where the game's already out of hand, but when you're in his role in the bullpen, that's part of the job, is to try to soak up some innings, soak up some outs.
Penny is going to go to Buster Posey, and he'll underhand it, and Scudero tags him out. Not quite sure what Bernardino was doing.
No idea what he was doing. There's some smiles. Happy birthday.
Yeah, you turn 90. You can smile all you want. Here's Lombardozzi, who bounces this one to Arias, and that'll end the inning. So that'll do it. The Nationals scored 3 times. It's 11-0.
of the San Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LP.
All right, our trivia question brought to you by AT&T. This was a good one. Bryce Harper, the sixth teenager in Major League history to hit 10 home runs in a single season. Name the player to achieve this in a Giants uniform. Well, it was Mel Ott. This is the group. What a great player. The guy on top was Tony Conigliere before he got hurt. Ken Griffey Jr., Mickey Mantle, Ed Kranepool, and Bryce Harper. One of these names just doesn't belong there.
Sorry, Ed. Well, Bryce Harper's got a big career ahead of him.
Look, I'm not going to dog Ed Kranepool. You hit 10 home runs when you're under 20 years old. You've done something.
Yeah.
So here's Buster Posey.
The thing that made Mel Ott's season so impressive was he was so young. When he first got called to the big leagues, he was 17.
Man. Mel Ott.
First National League player to get to 500 home runs, was the home run king in the National League for many, many years. Giants Hall of Famer.
Posey takes low. Buster bounced out to third in the second. Long ways to go in this one, and if you're a Giants player, you can't mail it in. You get a packed house that wants to see something, and although you're thinking you have a slim chance to win this game, you do have to give it your best at bats. Play it right. Posey lines it into center field. Enough said.
Don't have to worry much about that guy.
Not at all. You have a whole bunch of people out here wanting to watch Buster Posey swing the bat. Oh yeah, see, she's proud.
Well, she can go home saying she saw that pure Posey swing.
Yep, and watch Hunter Pence, who's probably going to try to take one deep here.
A good chance.
He walked in the second inning. Pops this one back and out of play with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball from Gonzalez. Posey with his lead, nobody out. Breaking ball and a good one. It's 1-2, and if you don't have two strikes on you, why swing at that one? Now's a different story. And he got it again, and he got a piece of it. So Buster Posey at first, held on by Adam LaRoche. Got him. It's a good hook. That's one where you wish you would have put the fastball in play. Good sharp break. And here's Terrio, who hit a fly ball to center field. Hit it pretty well, but little guys don't normally hit the balls out of the park here. Unless you yank one right down the line.
That's exactly what I said over on the radio side. With Terrio connect, I mean, he hit it well, but if he hits one in this park with that trajectory, that's not going to work for him.
Gonzalez with 52 pitches. Dodgers have won. Arizona idle.
A little bit unusual this year for Theriot in his splits against lefties and righties. He's a guy in his career, he has always hit left-handers extremely well. Sort of built his career on beating up on left-handed pitchers, and this year he has had more success against the righties.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Gonzalez wanted it 3-1. The numbers that Dave's talking about.
Yeah, that's this season. I mean, we're used to seeing that reversed and more.
In the center field. 2 outs. And that'll bring up Belt.
Same kind of idea there for Theriot. To hit a ball like that, for him, that's just not the recipe for success.
Belt hit a line drive into center field in the second inning for a base hit.
He's looking good these days. He saw that curveball you were talking about one time, took it for a strike, and the next time he saw it, he hit a rocket.
He was up a little bit and he took advantage of it. Foul back. We stand around the batting cage, and I asked him, how long's your bat? 34 inches. What's the weight? 31. On the ground to second. And that'll end the inning. Posey's hit, and then a 1-2-3 fourth. 5th inning coming up. Here at AT Park. All right, let's check out our Ford right choice. We got a fly ball hit into the upper deck, and who got it? Chuck Nevius from the San Francisco Chronicle. And for a long time in the sports section, now we see Chuck all over the place. And I don't think he actually caught it. I think it fell into the gentleman's lap next to him, and he picked it up. That's the story I'm going with, and that's our Ford right choice.
Gosh, you'd think for a guy who's one of the most powerful guys in San Francisco, he might have a better seat.
No, I think he's doing a story. By the way, here's Dave Fleming going to call this base hit.
Bryce Harper, base hit. Good old Chuck.
So Chuck sitting in those seats, and I think he's probably going to do a story on different locations of where to sit throughout the ballpark. By the end of the game, he's probably going to be sitting next to Larry Baer.
I mean, I don't want to say that's a bad seat. It's a good spot to be.
Oh, it's a great
view.
spot. Absolutely.
But he's kind of a VIP.
Oh, he'll be sitting next to Larry before this game's over with.
Ryan Zimmerman is the hitter here against Brad Penny. That was another hit for the Nats. They've got 14 hits in the first 4+ innings. Amazing. And it's all Nationals here tonight. Zimmerman's got 3 of those 14. He's 3 for 3. And he is red hot. He's Posey hot these days.
Now, his hit off of Vogelsong in the first inning was pretty impressive.
Really impressive. His hit off Vogelsong in the third. I mean, Vogelsong threw him a pitch down and in. Here's Hector Sanchez into the game to catch for Posey. So Posey got a hit, and he'll take the rest of the game off. Took a pretty big cut there. Foul ball for strike 2.
This is where you get a chance to rest the guy that has played a lot, and you get him strong for the next 2 games with an off day on Thursday. And I'll tell you what Posey's upset about. You can see the look in his eye. He's upset about the 7-run third inning.
Yeah. Strike 3 called. Zimmerman can't believe it. On the outside there. And Zimmerman, there was the look.
Well, I think it's the time where if you're a hitter, and you know what, that's a pretty good pitch. Look, swing the bat. It's 11-0, and I have no problem with the umpire expanding it a little bit, but I don't think he did there. I think that was a strike.
Dressing up for the ball game tonight.
Yeah, these guys are up to no good.
Dressed to impress somebody. LaRoche takes the breaking ball for strike 1.
As my wife would say many years ago, you're trying too hard.
Sunglasses still on top of the cap, trying too hard.
We're married. She's still trying too hard. The fact that I met her in red pants may have had something to do with it.
Yeah. Never could quite shake that one.
I hear about it from time to time.
Yeah.
Yep, it's Sinatra night. That's why they're dressed.
Yeah.
They're reminding us in the truck of what's going on. Where we clearly have let this game gotten away from us.
Terrio kind of wrestling with that one.
Nobody's at third.
And Harper, aware of that, will take third. But that shift on, Scudero came over, and third base was empty. So might not cost the Giants 2 outs. Not as big of a mistake as if there were 1 out, or if the score were different.
I mean, all it does is it looks bad, and if you're Hector Sanchez, you just have to be aware that that could very possibly happen.
Yeah.
You got to get over there.
Yeah. Tyler Moore is going to come into this game and hit for Morse. So Morse, the guy's been a little banged up himself. Take the rest of this one off, and Tyler Moore hits against Brad Penny. Ball 1. Well, you can subscribe to MLB.TV to take advantage of new low pricing. You can see every remaining Giants out-of-market game live online in your favorite devices in HD quality. MLB.TV. There's another breaking ball. This one for a strike from Penny to Moore. 1-1. Tyler Moore's emergence, one of the reasons why the Nationals cut Rick Ankiel. Rick Ankiel, who's a leader on this Nats team, guy who hit a memorable home run against the Giants in 2010 in the playoffs. Nats cut him loose. That one goes right by Sanchez, and now that extra base has cost the Giants a run. Be a wild pitch. 12-0.
Well, you got to stay on your toes. And this one just kind of got Hector Sanchez in between. Am I going to backhand it, or am I going to try to block it? And it should have been a play that should have been blocked.
I think because it was a fastball, he just wasn't ready for that. was a good breaking ball. Had that been a breaking ball, I bet he used the proper technique.
And if you're a Giants player right now, you just want to play it right, because you don't want the fans getting on you. Your manager's watching you somewhere. He may not be in the dugout, but he's watching.
Yeah.
I always thought these games here were harder to play in than any pressure game for first place. Because when things start to unravel, you just don't want it to continue.
Well, the Giants of all teams, they are not used to these kind of games. There have been a few of them this year, but very few. There's ball 4. So Moore takes the walk. Brad Penny just not particularly sharp right now. You can tell he's not real happy about it. The thing that's been surprising to me about Penny is you see the velocity, you see the break on the breaking stuff. He's got some life in his arm. The strikeout numbers have been way down. He's given up a lot of base runners. He's not fooling hitters, even though the stuff at times looks real lively.
Well, you always check the velocity with a guy like Penny, because that's what you're used to.
That one is hit pretty well to center field. Pagan is going to watch it go. Danny Espinosa. Wow, that's some power to straightaway center field on a line. And it's getting worse for the Giants. It's 14-0.
I think that was a breaking ball.
Season high for the Nats in runs scored, and it's the 5th inning.
Breaking ball, not even a strike.
It was not a strike.
And a fastball to the backstop, and it's 1-0.
Well, Roger Bernardina and Dave Righetti's coming out. Could be one of those spots where Bernardina wouldn't be all that comfortable in the batter's box.
And I think Dave Righetti's going to go out just to try to calm the big fella down, to see what's going on. Look, there are times at this level where you're not having any fun. And there's a bunch of guys standing out on the field right now, including the big fella on the mound. They're not having any fun at all. You know, they're hearing the grumblings from the stands. They're watching balls hit hard leave the park. They're watching balls that aren't hit hard finding spots for base hits. But it is suck it up time.
Big time as Penny goes back to work. And just a little dribbler foul.
And it's an unforgiving sport. And the guys in the dugout over on the first base side, I mean, they're not going to run crazy and do wild stuff, but they're going to take their swings. That's what you do.
Two down here, and Bernardina takes strike 2. This is, to me, this is one of those spots, and it can happen in a real pressure game where you're reminded of this, but in a game like this where you got to get all of the outs, you got to finish the game. You can't stall, you can't wind the clock down, you can't kneel down. You got to play the whole game through.
Somebody's got to throw the ball over the plate, and somebody's going to swing.
Penny not getting the one he wants from Hector Sanchez, who went through just about everything there. And Penny wants him to do it again. This time didn't take long. Bernardina past the reach of Arias. So another hit for the Nats. Bernardina's got 3 of them. And that may be it for Brad Penny. We'll see. It is. That's disappointing for Penny, and that the Giants were hoping he could pitch a little better in relief of Vogelsong, and the Giants are going to have to get a lot more outs out of their bullpen.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and tune-up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. We'll be back. Wake up with Today in the Bay on NBC Bay Area. Get the latest news, weather, and real-time traffic starting at 4:30 a.m. right here on NBC Bay Area.
All right, so Jose Mijares, the new pitcher for the Giants, the left-hander, trying to calm this game down. What a night for the Nats. Mijares, who just joined the Giants on this last road trip, and so far he's made a really good impression.
Yes, indeed. When you see his overall numbers this year, they're good.
I'm still stunned that the Giants were able to not just claim him, that nobody ahead of them in the waiver order claimed it, but then that they got him just by taking on the contract. They didn't have to make a trade. And this guy's a good reliever. Typically used as a situational kind of pitcher. Tried to backdoor Kurt Suzuki, who maybe had the single biggest swing of the game. The Nationals had already started to pile it on, but Suzuki cleared the bases with a double in the 7-run third, and that was kind of the backbreaker for Ryan Vogelsong.
On the Mijares acquisition, somebody wrote, and I thought it was pretty close to being right on, in 2002 the Giants picked up Scott Air in a very similar situation on the waiver wire, and he went on to have a great rest of the way in postseason for the Giants that year.
That ball is hit hard, and it skips up past the reach of Scudero. Bernardina comes to third, and they'll stop him there. It's another double, almost the same exact kind of ball for Kurt Suzuki. He's 3 for 4. Wow, the Giants just can't stop this now. The Nationals have 17 hits. Not much Scudero could do there.
Not much, and it's about the 5th hit, and this ball was hit hard, but it's about the 5th or 6th hit that's hit off a Giants player.
So now the pitcher Gio Gonzalez hitting for the 4th time in the 5th inning. This is not an easy one.
Well, I stopped keeping score.
Oh, there we go. That's a good way to score that last play.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. Help. Yeah, that's not bad. Just no cuss words, okay?
Those may be on the other side. Or maybe coming from him. Gonzalez strikes out swinging. So Mijares gets the Giants through the 5th. All Nationals here in San Francisco.
Time for Subway. Eat fresh. Ask us. Mike from Pasadena wants to know, Hunter Pence always seems to choke up on the bat no matter what the situation is. Why not just get a shorter bat?
So?
Well, I think guys like the feel of a heavier bat. You get more ounces and you can choke up and you just get a better feel of it.
Yes, of course. Gio Gonzalez to Arias.
How you feeling about that, Mike?
Yeah, is that the answer you were looking for?
I mean, some guys actually don't like the feel of the knob.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds choked up, and in every situation he choked up. And you know, he hit more home runs than anybody. Pence is just as strong. Pablo Sandoval chokes up. And you get a little bit more control with a heavier bat. I liked it sometimes. And I actually tried the shorter bat, but what happens if you want to, at the plate, decide not to choke up?
Yeah, there's nowhere to go with it.
You got a problem then.
Can't just extend it out.
The old extendo bat does not work.
No. Hey, there's Pablo. Be interesting to see if the Giants find a way to get him on at bat in this game. He's active. Came off the DL before the game, and the Giants decided not to put him in the lineup, figuring 3 rehab games in a row, give him 1 night just to let the hamstring rest and recover, and he should be good to go tomorrow.
He was not going to make a difference in this game.
That turned out to be a good decision. So full count here to Arias. Strike 3 called. So Arias is retired. Let's check in with Amy G. Amy?
Well, Dave, he's not in the game anymore tonight, but you can still see Buster Posey. You log on to csnbarrier.com and you can watch a new edition of Buster Knows Squad. It is brought to the fans by GoPro cameras. We had a good conversation today. He weighs in on the addition of Hunter Pence to this Giants team. And, gentlemen, he talks about a hot button issue, and that is when he is not in the lineup. He talks about how thoughtful Bruce Bochy is as to when he's going to rest him and why he needs the rest. csnbarrier.com. It's a Buster Knows Squad. Guys?
All right, Amy, thanks. The hottest hitter in the big leagues, Buster Posey. This guy is hitting in the big leagues for the first time. This is the first time he's ever done it.
And he's going to hit one out right here.
Kipe just called it. Strike 2.
Well, you may have to step towards the pitcher and not towards third.
Yeah. We got a little Santiago Casilla thing going. And he was ready to go back to the dugout. No, you get another one.
Jose, come on.
It does not look all that into it. There's strike 3 call. It could be that the Giants just said, hey, look, don't hurt yourself, please.
Well, that's the story I'm going with.
It sounds a little better that way. Looks better.
And now the bench is going to be used up.
Gregor Blanco come into this game for Pagan. So Pagan has been playing every day. Remember, this is a stretch. One thing we were talking about the bullpen and the Giants looking for some innings from Penny, soak up some outs. This is one of those stretches, 20 games, 20 days. They will have the off day coming up after this series is over on Thursday, but this team's a little chewed up right now. So Posey's out. Now Pagan is out. Blanco could use a hit. Not an easy task against Gio Gonzalez, who is cruising right now. Ball 3. Blanco could use a walk. He could use just getting to first base. I think he's missed that feeling. Well, there's ball 4, so he'll take the walk.
Well, what happened today with Ryan Vogelsong is his ERA got chewed up a little bit.
certainly still excellent, but ERA jumped up about a half a run in 2 1/3 innings. 2 2/3 innings.
Did not see that coming.
Jordan Zimmerman, the guy now at the top of that list, will face the Giants tomorrow. Ball 1 to Marco Scutaro, and Kurt Suzuki wants to refocus his left-hander. Say this about Gregor Blanco, the guy who just drew the walk. It's been tough times for Gregor, and he's basically lost his playing time. He's a bench player now for the Giants. The Giants might not have survived that stretch without Pablo Sandoval, without his contribution.
Yep, he was great.
He really was, and even though he's cooled off, Blanco saved the Giants there for a month or so. Pablo's first injury of the year, that hamate surgery. That one is hit on one hop to second. Scutaro is 0 for 3. The Giants retired. On to the 6th here in San Francisco.
Nationals.
What?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Mijares starts this inning clean and throws a strike to Steve Lombardozzi. And he was a pest tonight, this guy. There was a point in this game where it was very tense, tight. Lombardozzi was getting on base at the top of the order. He's got the double ear flap helmet. Switch hitter, so he only needs one. Shane Victorino style. A few other guys do that.
Yep.
Most switch hitters have 2 helmets.
I think I would go with the 2 helmets.
Not this guy, though. He only needs the one. Comebacker, Mijares. The lob to first for the out.
All right, it is 6th inning. Let's check out tonight's Coors Light Freeze Cam. JT Snow against the A. Interleague action. Who's at third in the 15th inning but FP Santangelo? Yeah. Watch FP. I'm the man, and we won.
I think that's exactly what he said.
And that's your Coors Light Freeze Cam, brought to you by Frosted Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
FP back here in San Francisco tonight doing the broadcast for the Nats. Doing a heck of a job. Second full year there. Maybe we had a tiny role in getting him started in his second career.
Maybe we did. But the fact now that he's taken a lot of credit for this best record in baseball, I think that's a little tired, to be honest with you.
Yeah, FP, you have nothing to do with the wins.
He's been great.
Bob Carpenter, his broadcast partner. Longtime baseball voice. And they're having fun this year.
They should.
A great time to be a Nats fan. And the Nationals, the last time a Washington baseball franchise made the playoffs was 1933. Before they were born. 1933. Last time a playoff game was played in Washington. Strike 3 called. Bryce Harper cannot believe it. 2 down. I think the principle applies, though, that you brought up last inning. It's 14-0. If it's close, you better swing.
You have to expand a little bit. Somebody has to. Look, that's not a strike. But in a 14-0 game, that is a strike.
Well, now he's got a camera. Ryan Zimmerman. He was unhappy with the strike 3 called last inning. That one got a piece of somebody. Zimmerman, a big part of this Nationals offense. 14 runs, 17 hits. And the Nationals were the Senators, not the same franchise, but the Washington baseball franchise. The Senators in 2 different versions. And the only time that the Senators ever won a World Series, they beat the Giants back in, I think it was 1924. In 1933, they made the playoffs, and a Washington baseball team has not been back there since then. That one got a good piece of Hector Sanchez. 1-1.
Well, when we were back there around the 4th of July, wasn't there a retro game?
Yeah.
That had something to do with that.
With the World Series. Giants and Nats wore throwback uniforms, which were very cool looking. But that was when the Giants were the dominant franchise in the sport. The Giants in the early part of the 20th century were baseball's powerhouse. With guys like Mel Ott, we were talking about Mel Ott earlier, just like Bryce Harper, a teenager who had a huge impact. There's Mel Ott's number 4. Bill Terry, Christy Mathewson, John McGraw, also great figures from those old Giants teams. Mel Ott played his entire career, 20 big league years, all with the Giants. First National League player ever to hit 500 home runs. Was like Bryce Harper, burst on the scene, hitting home runs as a kid. Was a Giants manager. Zimmerman to Hunter Pence for the 3rd out. We're doing a little reminiscing tonight here at the Yard. 14-0 Nats.
On Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the all-American Jack Combo at Jack in the Box. It's a no-nonsense burger with fries and drink for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. And by GoPro, the world's most versatile HD camera. Be a hero. GoPro.
Well, it's a beautiful night here in San Francisco. Not beautiful, though, for the Giants. All Nats. Heart of the order here, Melky Cabrera, who's hanging in this game against Gio Gonzalez. Melky does not come out of games. He doesn't miss games.
He wants his at-bats.
A big chopper. Zimmerman flipped it to first, and Melky 0 for 3. Well, guess what? September 5th, Giants will be here at home, and it's going to be Yoga Day at AT Park. That's the first time we've ever done that one in partnership with the musician Michael Franti and a premier yoga teacher, Janet Stone. I'm sure the aficionados know all about her. Special event package includes some very cool stuff. Partial proceeds benefit Power to the Peaceful. sfgiants.com/special events. Hector Sanchez out number 2. We didn't have a chance to heap praise on Hector for his great at bat in yesterday's game.
You know, it was really funny. Bruce Bochy did in the dugout today before the game. He talked about Posey had a great at bat. Hunter Pence, he said, but look, maybe those at bats don't mean anything if Hector Sanchez doesn't come through. He said he thought that was the big at bat.
I thought it was maybe the most impressive moment of his young big league career. I mean, he's had some big moments. He's had a couple of walk-off hits, I think, for the Giants already this year. But he saw tough pitches. He was battling. Took a couple close ones, got the count full, and he just drilled it. Yeah, that was a real big league moment for young Hector Sanchez.
Yeah, he hit it good, and I thought maybe he was going to hang up. Dexter Fowler runs just about everything down, but he did not run it down. It turned out to be a huge hit.
Pence swings through that one. Strike 2.
This is the hit that we're talking about. Belle-Isle, who's been terrific all season long, and really just about a step away from Fowler.
Well, that was another aspect to that. I mean, Matt Belle-Isle, he's been almost as good as any setup man in the National League. Gio Gonzalez has been on cruise control tonight. He got the run support early. He's just giving the Giants nothing. Sinatra night here at the yard. Pence takes the ball. Full count here.
Really looks. We've seen Hunter Pence now for what, a little over a week. He would like to swing at every pitch, but he will have to grind it out just to hold up.
Well, that's always been the case with him. But you can't swing at everything, and he almost literally has been.
He'll give it a good shot. I mean, he and Belt, similar body types, but totally different hitter.
Yeah, very different. Grounds that one to short. And the Giants are gone in order. Hey, John's coming back to join you.
Can't wait.
14-0.
Sice. matchup for the ball game tomorrow. Coverage will begin at 6:30 on CSN Bay Area. It'll be Jordan Zimmerman, who's fabulous. Take a look at that ERA, a 2.35 earned run average. Madison Bumgarner, he's got a very good record. He's very good. So again, it'll be a very good pitching matchup tomorrow night. Game time right around the top of the hour. 14-0 National. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts is Jeremy Affeldt. Is on the hill facing LaRoche, and a big breaking ball misses. 1 ball and no strikes. John Miller is back. There's the numbers for Affeldt, and he's having a very good season.
Just getting some work in now.
Not always the kind of work you want to get, but you need to stay sharp. Because there's a breaking ball, and if you throw a breaking ball like Affeldt's, you need to get in games. Keep it sharp. And that last one was a good one. And it's now 1-2. Vogelsong, Penny, and Mijares. LaRoche is 0 for 3. Did walk with the bases loaded in the third. And here Affeldt says, all right, see you later.
There is one school of thought about, it's more about closers, I guess, although right now Affeldt is one of the Giants' closers in their committee of closers.
Yep.
But I guess it would extend to just late inning guys who usually are only in when the team is ahead in a close game. That they don't have, they need that adrenaline, that surge of adrenaline they get when they come in when a whole game's on the line, which they don't have in a game like this.
Scudero to his left, spins and throws, got him. Moore's retired. Well, and, you know, if you're Brad Penny, you see Edward Lloyd at his first baseball game. If you're Brad Penny, you veteran, the adrenaline is something that is very important. You care less what the score is. Here's Espinoza. Espinoza past Scudero for a base hit. Espinoza, that's his 4th hit.
With 3 other guys with 3 hits, he's the first to get to 4.
18 hits on the night.
Is there anything to the idea that just get all this out of your system tonight?
Well, yeah.
Don't waste any hits. Don't waste any good pitches.
Yep, that's exactly what you say after this game.
So it's the right thing to say.
Absolutely. And how do you feel about it? You feel that you're glad it's over with, and you hope nobody got hurt. There's a breaking ball to Bernardina.
Well, there's a lot of truth to that. It's over, and nobody got hurt.
I mean, you're going to have a couple of stinkers a year. You just don't know when they're going to happen, and you can't pick when it's going to happen. There's a called strike. And here you got a packed house, 2 first-place teams going at it, and literally after the 3rd inning, for the most part, it's over. 1-2 to Bernardina.
That was Steven Strasburg looking on from the dugout. He'll go here on Wednesday. And he's got to be shut down soon. That's the Nationals' decision. A pitcher, young pitcher, coming back from the Tommy John elbow reconstruction surgery. But it's been a big story this year because they're a contender and they're likely to head into October baseball, and he'll not be a part of it. And his numbers are strong. And some people say it's 180 pitches or 180 innings. Some say 160.
And that'll end the inning. Bernardina not happy with that at bat. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Here it's a lopsided score, and not one in favor of the Giants. It's 14-0. Check out this jacket. Huh? Battery operated, maybe?
I have some ties made out of that same stuff.
I like those ties. I bet the jacket's heavy.
I like it. Now that's my idea of a good look.
Yeah, I agree. Here's Terrio in the bottom of the 7th, and from Gonzalez, he'll take a strike at the knees. Terrio, Belt, Arias, and a shot up the middle, right over Gonzalez, and a base hit for Terrio. Well, look, you play for certain things. One, you don't want to get shut out.
A game like this reminds me back in 1997. The Giants kind of surprised the baseball world that year. They'd made a lot of trades. Matt Williams was one of the guys they had traded away, but they got several very good players in return in that deal and in some other deals. And they won the division. But literally every 10, 12 days, they would get blown out just like this.
Yeah, at the end of the year, were they not outscored?
They won the division. They won 90 games, and they got outscored for the season. They allowed more than they scored.
The 0-1 pitch to Belt, and Belt swings and misses. Nothing in 2.
But you remember they would lose a game, and literally they'd lose 15-0. Yeah. They lost 19-3.
It was ugly.
They had a horrible game. But the next day, they'd win 3-2.
Yep.
And they'd out-hustle a team, or they'd just play better than the team the next day.
Oh, and 2 to Belt as he fouls this one off one of the pipes behind home plate.
But I think it was, I went back and I counted them. They lost 17 games that year by 10 runs or more.
Wow. And tight to Belt.
And that really came to about every 10, 11 days during the season. They'd have one game where they'd just get destroyed.
And then it came down to the 2 big games against the Dodgers at Candlestick. Belt fouls it back.
And that was where it looked like they were in trouble. They were 2 down with 11 to play. They had just lost 4 in a row in Miami and Atlanta. And they had the 2 games with the Dodgers, and that was it, their only chance. And they won them both.
A night game and a day game.
Barry Bonds hit one into the upper deck at Candlestick in the first game. And I think it was Kirk Reaver pitched that when they won 2-1. The next day, though, they blew a big lead and had to go extra innings, and finally Brian Johnson, the catcher, homered a walk-off. So they were tied with 9 games to go, and the Dodgers went into a tailspin. Yep. The Giants almost never lost the rest of the year, and they clinched the division title on the final weekend.
So it's 3-2 to Belt. We pitched number 97 for Gonzalez, who steps off the slab. Now we do have a lefty in the bullpen for the Nationals. For Zolani. The 3-2 pitch. Belt flips one into left field. Coming in is Bernardina, and he's going to make a diving catch. That was a pretty good catch out there by Bernardina.
Well, if you can't go for a catch like that in a game like this, then I guess you never can. And he went for it, and he's got a lot of speed, and he let it all hang out. Quite a play.
Well, he's the center fielder that made that game-saving catch in Houston on this road trip.
Is that the one where he disappeared behind that big pillar?
If he catches it, the Nationals win. If he doesn't, the Astros would have won.
It was all on that one play. Mike Morris giving him the what is that signal?
That was a great catch by using your big glove. Is this Steve McCaddy? Our old friend coming out.
McCaddy, he was the one for a long time. He was the last 20-game loser in the big leagues with Oakland. And he said every time somebody got close to 20 losses that they'd call him. And he was actually kind of sad when somebody else actually hit 20 losses. And he used to say, it was kind of a cliche, but he thought there was a lot of truth to it. You have to be pretty good to be given a chance to lose 20 games.
And he had some great years in Oakland. A couple of those years under Billy Martin, where if you didn't throw a complete game, something was wrong.
The A's had that one year. They had a bad bullpen. Mike Norris was at the top of the rotation. Rick Langford was in there. McCaddy. And Keogh, I think Matt Keogh.
Yep. There's a shot into center field, a base hit. Terrio will head to third, and they're going to call Arias out. And Arias tried to stretch it into a double.
Now there are good times to take a risk like this. And I guess there are worse times. Maybe you're behind 4-0 and you think you could come back. But 14-0. Bryce Harper's got a great arm.
And they got him. Yeah, well, I mean, the other thing too is you're trying to break up the shutout, then you don't want to take that extra base. You won first and third with 1 out. Here's Crawford. It's a high fly ball to right. Gone. So it turns out the Giants break the shutout anyway on the home run by Crawford. And that's a pinch hit home run. Swing by Brandon Crawford. And in the grand scheme of things, all it does is it knocks Gonzalez out of the game. And we're going to get a new pitcher. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and tune-up. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. 14-2. We'll be back. Run that knocked in a pair. Tom Gorzolani is the new pitcher. He is a lefty, and for Gorzolani, this will be his 35th appearance. He's won 3, he's lost 2, and coming out of the bullpen, he's had a pretty good season for these Nationals. Chad Tracy comes in on the double switch. Tracy at first, and he will hit 9th, which means he will hit 2nd in the 8th inning. So here's Gorzolani to Gregor Blanco, and Blanco takes a call strike. On deck is Marco Scudero. And the lefty deals, and Blanco takes low. Blanco drew a walk in the 5th inning. So it took the Giants till the 7th inning before they broke through against Gio Gonzalez. Blanco on a half swing. Take a look at this nice swing by Crawford.
Just come in as a pinch hitter with a runner at third. And a little bit of a breeze blowing out toward McCovey Cove. And over the Willie Mays wall. 4th home run of the year for Crawford. Got one at the belt.
And Blanco takes a call third to end the inning. All right, 8th inning coming up.
Upper deck? No way!
All right, here's our Toyota game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. This is an all-nationals ball game, folks. 7 in the 3rd, and then 3 in the 4th, 3 in the 5th. You can see what the 6th, 7th, 8th place hitters did. Gonzalez was good, and Ryan Vogelsong, career high tying 8 runs allowed. For Mr. Consistency and Mr. Steady, it just wasn't his night tonight, is Santiago Casilla. Comes in, he'll do the pitching. And to do the play-by-play, here's John Miller.
He's facing Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki has had 3 hits in this game. Now, Suzuki hit .218 for Oakland in 75 games. And then in 6 previous games with the Nationals, he was hitting .143. As you see Casilla's numbers for the year. And suddenly tonight, he's suddenly found his stroke. Suzuki got the big hit in the 3rd inning. The score was already 5-0 Nationals. And then he hit a 3-run double to make it 8-0. Since then, he's had an RBI single and a double. So he's 3 for 4. 1-2 the count now to Suzuki with Chad Tracy on deck.
Well, hitting against a guy he used to catch.
Casilla in the bad old days was with the Athletics, when he was always a guy with enormous talent who just could not put it together. There is Melky Cabrera, 1 away. Be hard for Casilla to have any secrets from Kurt Suzuki.
There are no secrets. It's just kind of odd, though, sometimes when you almost feel like, well, wouldn't that catcher have an advantage hitting off a guy he used to catch? And you think so, but you just never see it, or you never hear a catcher admit to that.
Plus, the catcher his whole night, his whole day is given over to try and help that guy be as good as he can be. Might not compute for a catcher. Go out there and try to beat this guy. Are you kidding? I love this guy. Give my body and my soul to get him through a game.
But the first time the guy knocks you down, you kind of forget about that.
All right, that's over. Never did like this guy, you know, and truth be told. A ball and a strike to Chad Tracy, the former Arizona Diamondback. By the way, we were talking about that 1997 season when the Giants just on a regular basis got annihilated, only to turn around and win the next day 3-2, 4-3. And when they would turn around and win a game the next day, a lot of times they played better defense in that team. They played a smarter brand of ball. Sometimes they just out-hustled the other team. And that Giants ball club, which I think seized the idea that they weren't that good and would come back to earth. That is in there for a called strike 2 with the curveball. 2-2 to Tracy. But because they got annihilated, you know, there were just days where if the pitching wasn't real good or the defense wasn't as sharp, it would just all come crumbling down in a hurry.
It almost looked like they half expected 1 every 11 games.
Yeah,
for it to happen.
We can't keep this up longer than 10, 11 days. Down the left field line, and that's going to be extra bases for Tracy. So he joins the hit parade. But it came down to 11 games left. The Giants and Dodgers. The Giants were 2 games out in game 1. Barry Bonds in the first inning batting with a man aboard. And he did the little pirouette into the upper deck. And I remember several years later the Dodgers had gone into decline after that.
Yep.
And a guy in the, I guess it was the LA Times, might have been Bill,
it was Bill Plaschke.
Bill Plaschke. And he pointed to that moment as the Dodgers, the beginning of their decline.
Because they didn't do something about it.
Bonds not only hit the tape measure homer, but he did the little pirouette that kind of showed them up or whatever.
I think.
And the Giants really had it over them for a long time after that. The Giants were in pennant races year after year for a long time with Arizona, sometimes with San Diego. This is Arias. This is a real long throw. Too late. Nice play, but Lombardozzi gets his 3rd hit. Now the next day, Rod Beck came in extra innings. The bases were loaded with nobody out. And Eddie Murray, as a pinch hitter, double play, inning over. Dusty Baker had gone to the mound. Remember, they were booing Dusty and Rod Beck. Beck came in. Yep. They wanted Roberto Hernandez to be the guy. Yep. And Rod had just given up a game Fred McGriff had homered against a couple of days before for a walk-off in Atlanta. And that one surprised Hector Sanchez, that curveball. 1 ball and no strikes. Anyway, Dusty went out. He's getting, people are screaming at him. Get him out of there. What's wrong with you? And so on and so forth. And all he said to Rod was, he said, you're in here right now because you're the best I've ever seen under stress in tight spots like this.
In this spot.
I would not want anybody but you in a spot like this, so just go do what you've done. And Beck's the one who told that story because talk about being inspired. Because he was starting to wonder himself.
Of course.
Now Sanchez is going to go out and talk to Casilla. 1 out, 2 men on.
Well, when the trade was made to acquire Roberto Hernandez, who was a closer, they started to share that spot. And it didn't sit very well with Rod Beck.
Well, the night before, it was Hernandez who came in and closed and went the last 2 innings in that 2-1 victory back of Kirk Reeder. And I know that did not sit well with Rod. But then he had one of the great moments in the Giants-Dodgers rivalry from a Giants point of view. Fantastic. Getting out of that base loaded, nobody out jam.
Fantastic.
And he got Eddie Murray to hit that double play to end the inning. Murray's in the Hall of Fame. 3,000 hits, one of the great RBI men of his time. Well, that was one of the great Giants and Dodgers pennant races, and who knows if we may have another one like that this year. Dodgers will likely be tied with the Giants for first at the end of tonight. That's back to the screen, out of play, or not out of play, just back to the screen. 1 ball to 2 strikes to Bryce Harper, who's had 2 hits in this game.
Both hits close to being exactly the same. Ground balls between Scutaro and Arias.
Well, the 19-year-old been slumping lately. He was only 1 for his last 18 coming into this game. But 2 hits tonight. Brandon Belt and Harper, a fast runner, is retired. The runners advance. In fact, and now Zimmerman coming up, but Cesar Izturis is going to pinch hit. So Tracy was already at third. He just stayed put on that one. So Lombardozzi moves up, but Tracy does not. He stays at third. I started thinking, did I miss a run? Did I miss a base runner?
Hey, if I looked at my scorecard now, I'd be like, forget it. Aren't you glad Dave is doing the highlights?
Scutaro goes over and makes the catch. Well, that second game, extra innings, Brian Johnson hit this home run against Mark Guthrie. It was a walk-off home run, and the Giants were tied for first. A great moment in the long history of the Giants and the Dodgers. Heritage Night 2, presented by Ligo Sardines. There's a special event package including a ticket to the game, the Giants and the D-backs in one of these special Filipino Heritage Night sections. Also access to a pregame Heritage Night party and a Giants Filipino Night t-shirt. Visit sfgiants.com/special events. That's Wednesday, September the 5th, Filipino Heritage Night 2.
This is Marco Scutaro against Gorzolani. Izturis stays in the game at third.
And it's a 1 ball, 1 strike count to Scutaro, who's grounded out 3 straight times. 14-2, the Nationals. Of course, the Nationals used to be the Montreal Expos. Up the middle, base hit. Hit number 7 for the Giants. First allowed by Gorzolani.
Well, every night Comcast Sportsnet delivers top plays, big stories on NBC Bay Area News. For complete sports coverage of your favorite Bay Area teams, turn to NBC Bay Area News at 11. I miss going to Montreal.
Montreal was a great stop until you had to go to the game.
I miss going to Montreal.
Here's Melky Cabrera, batting right-handed. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Takes ball 1 from Gorzolani.
Ballpark was a little iffy.
The indoor stadium, Olympic Stadium, and in the final days when they let all their players go and they weren't spending any money, and nobody would go to the games. No. You go in there, it'd be 800 people in this 50,000 seat stadium.
Plus, it had a little personality when the roof would open, and then that didn't work, and then they just covered it up, and then you lost any personality.
They just left it closed forever after. 2-0. Oh, Melky chases the high fastball. 2-1. But we would talk about that 97 season because the Giants would have games like this on a regular basis, even though they won the division title. Shallow right field. And in there. Tyler Moore could not quite get there.
Well, this gentleman wore that hat. He's had it on all night, trying to applaud the milkman, and finally he gets to stand up and say, okay, I'm happy now for a little while.
That's my guy.
Judging by the way he got in and out of that chair, I think it's good that Melky just got 1 hit.
So we had a 4-hit night.
Been tough. I've had that feeling.
Here is Hector Sanchez now. And listen to these fans. Giants down by 12 runs, but the ones who are here trying to inspire them to some offense.
Good attitude here tonight. Including that one.
Had a pretty good rip, fouling it straight back. 0-2. Hector grounded out to first in his only other at bat. That was in the 6th inning against Gio Gonzalez. 14 runs, 20 hits for the Nationals. The Expos back in '97, of all those blowouts that the Giants lost that year, the worst one was to the Expos. Remember that game? Something like 19-3.
It was bad.
And the Expos had a 13-run inning in that game. Moore out number 1. The runners hold. And now Hunter Pence will come up against Gorzolani with 2 men on, 1 man out in the 8th. Last time he came up with 2 men on in the 8th inning of the game was yesterday. The game was tied. There were 2 down, and he launched one into the seats in left center, which just prompted a delirious celebration inside this ballpark. Pence 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. Into the second deck off the right field side. Got the rally cap going.
Rally caps, rally gloves. Just about trying anything.
On the inside corner, strike 2. I did do a game. It was in Cleveland, and I think it was in 2001. It was a national telecast. The year the Seattle Mariners won 116 games, they were the best team in baseball. They were ahead 14-2 in Cleveland.
I remember that.
And Cleveland came back and won the game. That's back out of play. They were ahead 14-2, I think as late as the 7th inning. And Cleveland got some runs in the 7th, and they got some runs in the 8th, but they were still down 14-9 going into the 9th. And they won it in extra innings.
That was one of the most improbable games I've ever seen.
It really was. And nothing like that had happened in a baseball game since 1925. Popped up foul, and that's back out of play. But I remember one thing that happened. Brett Boone was on that team, and Bob Boone, his dad, was the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. A few days later, the Giants were in Cincinnati, and we ended up in that little bar across the street, Fountain Square, with Bob Boone after a Giants-Reds game. And he talked about that game, and he said, you know what happened? Because I knew it when I was sitting here. The closer, the setup, they had checked out for the night. And all of a sudden, they're in the game.
Yep.
And Pence fights that one off. A high fastball from Gorzolani. 0-2.
Well, it's easy to do if you're in that role of being a setup guy and a closer. And you start to look at the scoreboard. A lot of times you don't have to even be managed. If you look at the scoreboard, you'll find out exactly what's going to happen. When you look at the scoreboard, you're not going to get in the game.
Ooh, nasty slider for the strikeout. Pence gave him a battle, but Gorzolani wins the duel. 2 down. And Chario will come up. I remember Omar Vizquel played in that game as the shortstop for Cleveland. He scored the winning run in, I don't know, the 11th inning or the 12th inning, whatever it was. The closer and the setup guy, they were back in the clubhouse. They left the bullpen, went back in the clubhouse at one point when it was 14-2. And all of a sudden they get a call. Where are you guys? Get to the bullpens. What for? Because they're coming back.
Yep.
You might come in. Are you kidding?
So now you got to put your spikes on. You have your loafers on by then.
And they weren't right when they got in. Chario with a roller foul off to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Got to save some fries for the 8th inning.
Some rally fries.
Yeah. That's a game fish right there with the hat. Not going to mess with him or his fries.
See, a fry for each run.
It's not a torturous game, young lady.
She looked like it was, though.
Yeah, looked like it was 2010.
Ooh, just off the inside, and the throw went right over the head of Gorzolani, retrieved by Lombardozzi. When there were runners on, would you always, as second baseman, would you run over and back up the pitcher like that?
Somebody had to. If it was a right-handed hitter, there was a responsibility of the second baseman. Left-handed hitter, the other way. What you do, John, is you don't run and get behind. You just kind of move in that direction,
just in case.
Yep.
In the dirt, and the runners will advance. Scudero to third, and Melky Cabrera to second on the wild pitch.
Jamie getting ready for post-game live.
Three and on the count to Ryan Theriot. And that's out of play. Now, Gorzolani was with the Cubs, but not when Theriot was with the Cubs. Both former Cubs, though. Gorzolani actually was having a pretty good year. Gorzolani. Gorzolani was with the Cubs last year. That's what it was. Been the National all this year. Mahalan, his old Pirates teammate, was with the Cubs this year. But again, the fly ball into the outfield. Harper started back, comes in, inning over, 2 men stranded. Giants did not get the 12 runs that guy was open for. Unbelievable. As we go to the ninth inning, poignant scene of people who just don't want to miss any of the action. But it's time for a change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up. Your oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. It's George Contos into the game for the Giants here in the ninth.
Yeah, Contos. Good numbers. A 2.42 ERA. See, left-handed hitters just don't do very well. Right-handed hitters actually do better against George Contos.
That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a little backwards.
Usually you expect that from a guy who's got a great changeup as his top pitch.
That is exactly right.
He's got a great slider. I would think he'd be lights out on right-handed.
With that slider, I agree. Here's Gorzolani, who's going to hit. And Contos' first pitch to Gorzolani is down low. So Gorzolani came in the 7th, correct?
Yes.
So he can pick up a save.
Well, he went 2 1/3. You have to go 3.
Ah, I got you. So he did not start out the 7th. Swing and a miss.
2 down in the 7th after the Crawford home run.
There you go.
Derek Lowe got a save for the Yankees tonight in an 8-2 game.
He did.
He just signed with the Yankees, and tonight he got the save.
1-1 pitch to Gorzolani is low. It's 2 balls and 1 strike.
Actually, he went the last 4 innings of that game. He came on a relief of Phelps. Now, how do you think Cleveland felt about that? His ERA with Cleveland, his last 12 starts was about 10.
Here's Blanco moving into right center field to put it away. Stay tuned for the postgame wrap in just a bit. I'll also talk about the game tomorrow morning with Murph and Mac on the morning show right around 7:30 on KMBR 680.
Can you call me maybe 15 minutes before just so I don't miss it?
Tomorrow would be one you might want to miss, John.
It's the one I really wanted to hear.
No, I'm going to pick a topic that we could talk about tomorrow. That'll be very interesting. Here's Tyler Moore, who takes a strike.
You may have to get up really early to start preparing that then.
Well, to answer your question, I'm sure the Indians are watching very closely to see what's going on with Derek Lowe when he moved on to another team. And look, you make a move and you just hope that it doesn't come back to hurt your team. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2 to Tyler Moore.
Well, he came in the 6th inning and it was a 5-2 game. And then he pitched 4 shutout innings. He was having a hard time getting into the 4th inning as a starter for Cleveland.
So just start him out in the 4th.
That's where they went wrong. He could have been a great pickup for Colorado with their new pitching idea.
He's the perfect guy. The 1-2 pitch. And this is chopped foul as Moore actually hit it twice. Frank Sinatra night. Fly Me to the Moon. They've hung in there.
And they got on TV.
40,050 tonight. 42,050 tonight. Low. Espinoza is on deck. Espinoza is got a chance to pick up that rare opportunity where you get 5 hits in a 9-inning game. The 2-2. 3-2.
We're having one of those games here tonight that the Giants do not often have. We see them like this, especially in the summertime. Ball starts carrying well. Well, they're practicing to become part of the World Wrestling Federation. Looks like those kids.
There's a walk too.
I used to do that with my brother when we were kids.
Yeah, did you ever accidentally get a little too close?
Oh no. Although you might get a different answer if you ask him. You know, we could do the whole wrestling thing. And we could do the chokehold and gouge each other's eyes out. And it was all about the reaction of the guys. See, they're not reacting. They got to work on their reaction.
Oh, you got to go down. You can't laugh, right?
And you got to throw your hand up in your face and shake your head around. Oh, that's a good one.
Somebody probably just said, look, you're getting a little too close. Plus, you got braces on, for crying out loud. Here's Espinoza. Espinoza's 4 for 5 in this game.
Cal Ripken and his little brother Bill, and they played the big leagues together for a few years. And they used to play a game when they were kids. Cal was about a foot taller than Bill, and 40 pounds heavier, called Sack the Quarterback. Bill was about 3 years younger than Cal anyway. And the game was that Bill was the quarterback. He picked the ball up and Cal would sack it.
Well, you can play that game anywhere. You can play that outdoor, indoor.
Yeah, oh yeah, you see year round. Snowing outside, you can play inside. Summertime, go outside, play it. So Bill went to the Texas Rangers, and Cal had the consecutive game streak. And I said, so Bill, what happens? You're going to run and slide into second, and you could take Cal out to prevent a double play. He says, yeah. I said, well, you might hurt him and could end the streak. He says, I'm counting on that happening. I've been counting on that happening since I was 5 years old.
Espinoza bounces this one to Terrio. They get one there, and they will not turn the double play. He just wanted a free shot at the older brother.
He showed me a little scar above his lip. Because I said, why? Why would you want to hit him and maybe even knock him out of a game? He said, sack the quarterback. And he told me about the game when he was 5, and he says, I got a little scar from it right here, and I've been trying to nail him ever since. It was hard to nail him when he was my teammate.
Oh, that's great. Here's Bernardina. Bernardina, he's got 3 hits tonight, and he takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I was thinking maybe you and your younger brothers had some games like that too.
It was not sack the quarterback. It was just pile on the little brother. The age difference between Glenn, the baby brother, is 13 years. So I couldn't really physically hurt him, but I could torture him mentally. And Jeff was the referee. He was always pretty kind to Glenn. What Glenn wanted to do is be with us, right?
So you had a good cop, bad cop thing going, or good Kuiper, bad Kuiper.
Yep. And my dad would shake his head and say, does somebody always have to come upstairs crying? And it was always Glenn. And he'd laugh about it now, but there's always one of us that doesn't laugh as hard as Bernardino's got a base hit. That's his 4th hit, and for the Nationals, their 21st. Bernardina wasn't in the lineup until about a half an hour before the game started, when Worth had a cranky ankle, and Bernardina's very pleased. He's got 3 singles and a double and 3 RBIs.
Who knew that Jason Worth, who's been hot since he came back from the disabled list, being a late scratch, was going to kill the Giants?
Yeah, kill him. Kill him. Here's Kurt Suzuki, who's got 3 hits. And a strike call to Suzuki. Suzuki, his double in the 3rd inning really hurt the Giants. It cleared the bases. The bases were loaded. He later singled in the 4th to knock in a run. He doubled in the 5th.
I was up in Reading over the weekend for the wedding of my nephew, Manny Ramos, and the beautiful Hillary. Great fun. It was 109 degrees in Reading, by the way.
That's all right.
And when I saw my brother Paul, my kid brother, and we reminisced about some of those great days of big brother, little brother.
Arias to Terrio, and we'll finish that thought when we come back as we head to the bottom of the 9th inning. It's 14-2 Nationals. And Comcast Sportsnet part of the NBC Sports Group.
NBC Sports did a pretty good job, I thought, in the Olympics.
Yeah, terrific. I mean, it's always one of those events where it is so big. You wonder how a network, and I know they farmed it out to a lot of their other stuff that they have, could actually pull it off, but they did. I thought they did a great job.
Congratulations to them.
In a perfect world, you'd want everything to be alive at around 6 o'clock at night, but it just didn't happen that way.
No, not in London.
No.
By the way, I didn't have any story about my brother, just that we reminisced. Now, if you wanted a story, you should talk to him.
Yeah, I'm sure there are some bumps and bruises.
You kidding? I loved him.
Yeah. Well, I love my brothers too, but there were bumps and bruises.
But that's true. That's also true.
Belt is going to face Gorzolani.
But great to be up there, and there were so many Giants fans up there in the Reading area. Everywhere you went, Giants fans.
That is big Giants country, absolutely. So here's Belt, who's 1 for 3. That's the age difference, John.
Wow. Now, Glenn has changed a little bit more than you have since that picture.
Yeah, he can beat me up now. I don't want any remarks about the shorts. That kind of was the style when you painted on the farm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the NBA guy, Jerry West and those guys, they wore shorts like that.
Good. Thanks for helping me out.
That was the real stylish.
No wonder I couldn't get a date. My dad said, look, I need you to paint the barn. Okay. Glenn was like, can I help him? My dad was like, no, you cannot. So he was hanging around, though. Belt up the middle. Gorzolani spears it. And Belt is retired.
Nice play.
As you can see, Jeff was the farm photographer at that time. He was not going to get involved in.
He was already into the TV
producing.
Get the shot mode. Yeah.
Here's Arias with 1 out in the 9th. Hey, look who's on deck.
The Panda. That was a lot of people were wondering. Pablo was activated today. Why wasn't he in the lineup? The Giants had said that they wanted to have him play 2 of these 3 games. Then there's a day off anyway. But so Bruce Bochy said part of the reason was he played the 3 games, so they thought maybe a day off would benefit him anyway. But he also only had 1 at bat right-handed in those 3 days. And it was the left-hander. He'd bat right-handed tonight. And the next 2 days is a left-hander. So I said, well, is his right-handed stroke there? And he said, well, it's hard to say. You know, he hasn't had to use it yet, except in batting practice.
Well, the very sad thing is when he was injured against the Padres, it was just to the point where he was starting to get his swing going. And that's what's upset Bruce Bochy so much. They had waited patiently for Sandoval to get it back. Because when he had the hamate injury, he really was swinging the bat well. Well, here's a round of applause for the Panda.
And he'll get a shot to bat right-handed here, almost as if he's still on the rehab. In a 14-2 game. But the few people who are still here are thrilled to have a chance to see the Panther.
Pops the first pitch up, and it'll be out of play. It was Monday, July 23rd. The Giants beat the Padres that night 7-1. Sandoval in that game had gone 1 for 3 before the injury. Giants went on to win the next day, but lost on Wednesday, and then the Dodgers came in. And that's where the Giants really found out that they were in trouble offensively without Sandoval in the lineup. There's 3 Dodger scores if anybody really wants to hear them. 5, 3, and 10, 10-0, 4-0.
Swept it home. And it didn't get better for a while either.
Sandoval, a little pop-up that looks like it's playable. 2 outs.
His injury occurred playing first base, and he stretched out to try and finish up a double play.
Really was a nice play by everybody.
But it came at a high cost.
At that cost, and it was high. Here's Blanco. Blanco's walked and struck out since he's come into the game. And he dribbles this one foul.
And it's just 1 at bat, but it does indicate that maybe leaving him out of there against the left-hander when he's hasn't batted right-handed in such a long while maybe wasn't a bad idea.
Gonzalez, the pitcher on the right that will get the win in this one, and Strasburg on the left will pitch Wednesday. And the importance now of that win yesterday after seeing what happened tonight.
Madison Bumgarner will try and be the stopper tomorrow night here up against Jordan Zimmerman. 7:15.
One and 2. Blanco right now in the hole. Lincecum will pitch against Strasburg on Wednesday. Day off on Thursday, and then the San Diego Padres, who are a much better team and playing much better since the last time the Giants saw them. The 1-2 pitch is low and away, and that gets away. And down to second goes Arias. They might rule that a pass ball.
Well, the Padres in a rebuilding mode, but now with the O'Malley family having made a deal to buy him, it's not been approved by baseball, but apparently it will be. And certainly with, you would guess, some input from the O'Malley family, the prospective buyers. They've actually signed a couple of their veterans.
Yes.
It was scored as pass ball, by the way.
and that'll end the ball game. And to further that point, Chase Headley went from a guy that everybody wanted to a guy that they then decided they weren't going to trade. Well, John, this one over early, and put this one aside, and you think about tomorrow.
A blowout.
Yes.
One loss.
Final score here at AT&T Park. It's the Nationals 14 and the Giants 2. Esurance Giants postgame live with interviews and the wrap is coming up. But first, let's go to the Sportsnet Central studio for an update. Thanks for watching San Francisco Giants baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. And it's all part of the NBC Sports Group.